11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Guerrero won it. Juan, the Hispanic Causin Panic, Lascano.
And thanks to those joining us live, those have joined us on the archive, being joined by the one and the only Calix Boxing. I have to fix my mic there. There we go. How's it going, Calix?
Great on this beautiful Thursday, weekend eve, Friday eve. Going good. It is Thursday, right? Today's Thursday?
You can't call it Friday Eve. Like, what?
That's what it is.
You can't eve a Friday. Like, what are we doing here? Like, so what? What are we doing? But okay.
That's what we call it here. That's what I call it.
All right. Friday Eve, ladies and gentlemen. Because, when you're rich and you're on top, like, you get to have all these eves and these posts and these, it's all good. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jay Will. Says sub D style. How's it going, brother? Let's just dive right in here. I mean, the one thing I really want to talk about is Danny Garcia. Have you heard that Danny's gonna have his farewell fight on his own streaming network? He's his own boss. You know what I mean? So he's it's good to see that PBC is really going out of their way to give one of their loyalists a farewell. You know what I mean? Oh no,
look, tickets don't seem to be moving. This is on pay-per-view too, right? Isn't it on pay-per-view somewhere? Right. What network is carrying this?
It's like I forget what. It's not really a network, but it's on his app.
I thought we didn't fight on apps.
I guess now we do, right? It's like an app like that he invested in. He said on the Ariel Hawani. I forgot the name, but it's on an app that he partially owns.
Oh, nice.
And they're gonna have other sports. He says, like football, basketball, other sports. He says.
Oh, they're gonna have football.
I don't know what football, but some type of football.
Flag football,
like high school football or something.
Yeah. So this is where we're at with. Is he still with PBC? Like, is that what's going on? I saw him on Ariel Hawani, and he's talking about.
You know what I realized, Calix? Like, I realized, and people need to be open minded here. Okay, all these fighters have been with PBC. Well, you guys need to understand they're still with PBC, but what you need to understand is they have an open relationship with PBC. Right? It's an open relationship, right? So PBC is allowed to bring other fighters in. They're allowed to go elsewhere if they want. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of relationship that they got with PBC.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to hear. I heard him talking about Zuffa belts will be bad for boxing. I heard him talking about the Ali Act needs to stay intact because it stops promoters from double dipping.
Only doesn't do that, but like what's funny is that his advisor was triple dipping. He was an advisor, manager, and a promoter, right? So like I don't get why he has a problem.
Wait, allegedly. I mean, be careful with this.
Oh, you know what it is? If you triple dip, it cancels out, right? So when you cancel it out, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like an odd even. Even is not good, but the odd, we go back to the odd. It's okay. 100%. Shout out to Carlos. Shout out to Carlos M in the chat.
It's still Chicano Prophet here. I don't know. He thinks he's being slick. Like, we're not gonna call him Chicano Prophet. You know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is. Chicano Prophet in the building.
Yeah. Yep.
So
No,
you're not excited? You're not? Are you going to order the fights? I think it's like $40.
no. I don't even know who he's fighting. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a farewell fight. It's Colbert's on the undercard, coming out to straight losses.
It's like the guy that Boots just fought. It's like, come on. Come on. I saw some guys trying to big up it like you just don't know. Nah, man, like nobody knows who that guy is. And come on. First round knockout, good. He's supposed to do that good. But the thing is, with the first round knockout D style against a no-name opponent, you got to bounce back quick. We got to see Boots again in a month and a half, 2 months. When are we going to see Boots again? I don't know. When are we going to see him again?
Damn.
Hopefully it's against Virgil. If he announced the fight against Virgil early in the year, then yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's do this. But am I really supposed to get excited about him beating this guy, even if it's I saw people saying, "Oh, Boots really made a statement." Did he? Did he really make a statement? Like, let's get past this.
You know what else I saw?
You know I like him. Like, but come on, like this is the thing with boxing. Get this thing moving. Let's get this.
You know what else I saw? I saw like somebody post on X. Boxing fans are so negative. They always have to shit on a great performance. Like, it's just like what?
Is it like?
I mean,
it's a great performance. I mean, but it's easy.
Well,
to
if we put Calix to play basketball because a 12-year-old, I mean, he's gonna have a great performance, right, on the kid, right? You're gonna
like
dunk it on
you've
him.
seen video of me like dunking on my son on
Right.
then like swinging a shot to the neighbor's yard. You've seen that, but it's against my son.
Right.
Like, it's impressive if I do it against another grown man that can play basketball. But
Right.
that's the comparison here with what Boots just did. It's like, come on, man. Like, let's move this thing along. Let's move this thing along now. And I want to see the Virgil fight. I saw some commentary out there like people who really know what they're looking at know that Virgil doesn't match up with Boots well. Like, Virgil's a nice guy, but he doesn't match up with Boots well. Well, let's see. Let's see. Perhaps you're right, but
maybe not, right? Like, and isn't this like the frustrating thing? And we've been dealing with this for years, where we're calling for a fight, we're calling for a guy to step up, we're calling for a guy to step up. All we want to see is them step up, you know, and you know, you get labeled a hater, you get labeled, you just want to see them lose. And when they finally step up and let's say and they win, right? All those people don't shut the fuck up. Like, you see, I told you it was a real deal, bro. Like, okay, he should have done that like 5 years ago.
yeah,
Right. Let's say let's say Tank finally steps up and fights Shakur Stevenson, and he knocks out Stevenson in the 5th round. Tank fans are not going to shut the fuck up. We were right. We were right. We were like, bro, I just want to see the fight, bro. Right. It's not about when Calix and I are saying we want to see Boots step up. We're not rooting against him. It's not that we want to see him lose, right? If anything, you're revealing to us your fears, right? Apparently, you're worried that he might lose, and you don't want to see him in a fight that he might lose. But that's not my problem. I don't give a shit that much about any fighter in the sport. I want to see the best fights, and if my favorite fighters lose, so be it. That's what I want. That's what everybody should want.
If Boots loses, he loses. Williams Zepeda just lost. I want to see him now more than ever.
Yeah, but it's about
Canelo just lost. I'm still looking to see what Canelo does next, right?
But when a guy is protected for so long, right? The reality is that if he ends up losing, the inevitable, now we know why you weren't stepping him up, is going to come up, and then people get in their feelings and you're hating. No, like we're just
they have their aha moment. They think they have it. They're like, aha! I told you guys do this thing where, you know, you say that you don't care if fighters lose, but then they lose. You say, no, man, what it is you waited this long. It's what I talked about before the Crawford fight for Errol Spence is he waited this long to do it. So if he loses the fight, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. Had he done it 2-3 years prior, it's not as bad if he loses the fight. But if he loses that fight at that point, it's catastrophic. Especially losing it in that way. because now we know why. Now we know if
100%.
Tank Davis loses a big fight at this point, now we know why. Now we know why you've been hiding this guy for so long. And that's what I'm talking about with Virgil. Is Virgil up to this point is more tested than Boots. He just is. He looks more vulnerable, but dudes will inverse it. They'll say guys get fights when they're look more vulnerable. True, but it's also the opposite. It's also the same thing in
It's
opposite.
because like these dudes just
the more they fight against top competition, the more vulnerable they're gonna look.
They just act weird, like the way they protect these fighters, bro. It's fucking insane. You would think Boots has had all these accomplishments and lay off the guy. He's already done enough, or like you would think that's what it is. That's not what it is. He hasn't done enough. It's time to step. Like this is. I want to see him step up. I don't want to see any more Limas. Okay, the only Lima I care about is the one I put in my beer. Like that's it. All right, give me some lime, give me some beer, and let me watch the fight. That's it. Right. We don't need boxers doing this. Okay.
You put Lima in your beer? Oh, come on.
Mean?
Are you serious?
Hell yeah.
You're like one of these dudes that puts the orange in the
no, not orange. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't
have lime with tequila. Only real men drink tequila straight
Carlos
up.
M's not gonna like that. You put Lima in your beer? Come on.
Yeah, for the flavor. Mexican beer goes with lime. Like, what do you mean?
Hell?
What's that about? Like
No,
Corona, like let me tell you, Corona tastes like shit without lime. What do you mean? Like like that's the whole point. That's why they started putting lime. People don't even know the real story of Corona. Like the reason they started putting lime because they had a weird taste to it, right? So people could pretend all they want. Oh, I love it without the lime. No, you don't, right? The creators didn't like it, okay, without the lime, all right?
Here we go. Mexican boxing number one. I thought he said Mexican beer number one. No,
it could have been.
Look, but this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The sad part about this is I'm a Boots fan. I am. It's just this is the frustrating part about me as a boxing fan is, you have to be all in or you're not a fan to the internet boxing crowd. It's like, no, man, like I'm just expecting more.
You know what it is? It's the like the hip hop culture that Calix used to push a lot like back in the day, you know what I mean? It's that hip hop culture of like the haters. Everyone's a hater. You're just hating on me. Like that's what that is, bro. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's what it is. Oh, you're just hating. You're just you're pocket watching. All that shit comes from hip hop, bro. Like you know what I mean? They got it from hip hop bars.
What is this? Wait a second. You're hating on hip hop all of a sudden? What is
no, I no, like this hip hop. I don't like new hip hop, but I like hip hop. But my thing is all this. Like if I bring up something like, man, they're gonna pay that for that fight. What are we doing? Oh, you're just pocket watching. You're pocket watching. Like, no, I pay for my subscription, and you're spending too much money on one event. Like, what do you mean?
That, and when you start to see that trend, you start to ask the obvious question. How is this sustainable? And if it's not sustainable, how is this good for fighters as a whole from top to bottom? You're smart. You're just smart, but you can't be smart here. You can't be smart. Don't do that. Do not do that. I talked to, I was direct messaging with another well-known boxing podcaster last week, and he told me the reason I've disappeared is, part of it is just I don't relate at all to the internet boxing fan. That's a big part of it. It's not that there's just not much going on in boxing and we're in this big lull right now, because there is some sort of reset happening, and I expect 2026 to pick up because there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on, a lot of fighters being signed to these new entities, and we'll see where it goes from there. But a lot of it is they don't relate to boxing fans, the negativity with it. That we're called negative, but we're just being realistic, and we're being realistic because we want to see things change and head in a positive direction. That's what you and I, but then
but you see, this is the issue I have with people. So it's getting accused of being the negative ones and the pessimistic ones because we don't want to accept the abuse. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we always make the reference to like the battered wife, right? We're like, well, we've been the battered wife for years, right? And when we say enough, what happens? They gaslight us. They say, "Oh, don't you care? He's a loving husband. He cares about you. Yeah, he punched you in the face, but that's one mistake." Out of what about he hasn't hit you for the last month? You know what I mean? He went 30 days without hitting you. 30 days versus 1 day. You're going to judge him off of 1 day?
Yeah.
Like he could change. He's been under a lot of stress. You know what I mean? And the reality is, he's not going to kill you because the Ali Act doesn't let him kill you, right? So he might beat you up once in a while, but the Ali Act will protect you. He can't stab you because the Ali Act doesn't let him stab you. And then you have guys like Dana White coming around trying to change it. They're trying to change it. So why are they trying to change it? So he doesn't punch you anymore? Like, why does he want to change the Ali Act?
The Ali Act stops him from slapping you. Yeah, but where was the Ali Act yesterday when he was slapping me?
So why are they trying to change the Ali Act if it doesn't work? Motherfucker, I have a red mark in my face. What do you mean? Maybe he's trying to get me out of this marriage. Right? Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
And then they'll wonder. I saw a couple people yesterday. The California State Athletic Commission did this thing, right? Where they co-signed, they want the change, right? And then I saw some riders and whatnot on there. Man,
Stockholm syndrome.
Man, these boxers, they just zero of them called in to the commission. Zero of them. No boxers at all called into the commission to voice their concerns about the Ali Revival Act. And I'm thinking to myself, these dudes just like, maybe, just maybe, the fighters don't care about the Ali Act because the Ali Act doesn't protect them from shit. Maybe that's why they don't care. Maybe, you should focus on fighters other than the top dozens of fighters that benefit from this broken model that has completely destroyed American boxing.
Damn.
And look around you, bro. Look at the shambles. This is ground zero. Look around you. Look at all the smoke and dust coming up. That's what you've done to American boxing. And you got Danny Garcia fighting in a pay-per-view on an app that he owns, right? And nothing's going on. And then Danny Garcia is going to go on a podcast and say, leave boxing alone. Leave boxing alone. That's what Danny Garcia is telling Ariel Helwani. Keep your hands off of our boxing. It's like, no, bro, wait a second. Wait a second.
People are keeping their hands off.
Wait 1 second, Danny. Wait a second.
Yeah.
How about for the first time ever, Canelo lost last month, right? And he lost, and maybe he's got a year or two left. So for the first time ever in American boxing, there's nobody warmed up in the bullpen. We don't have, as much as you try to push Tank Davis as a superstar, he is not. He is not that. So where are the guys at? Where are all these superstars that you produce with all of this money? What about all these great champions with these belts? And now you're worried about this belt not coming into sport. Keep your hands off of our boxing. And that's the confusing thing to us as boxing fans, is why are people arguing for it's it's all about options. What are your options? Nothing happens in a vacuum, right? It's, when we're working with, I work with high school, middle school kids, and we teach them like the Socratic method. It's good to ask questions, right? You have to ask questions. Don't trust anybody completely, right? So they'll start to ask questions, and yeah, it makes sense that that's a problem. Good job. Now you come up with a solution, and they can't come up with a better solution. So what that tells us is, yeah, what you pointed out is a problem, but it's still the best option you have currently. So that's why we're doing it. With boxing, I understand that you think Dana White may be a problem. I understand that you think Turkey may be a problem, that this model isn't sustainable, and maybe Dana White's going to have some issues with the boxing landscape. But what are you comparing it to? And when these dudes do this thing where they parrot us and mocking us, at least I'm getting fights. At least I'm getting the fights. Yes, at least I'm getting the fights. If I have evil dudes over here running the sport who don't have my best interests at heart, they're in it for other reasons, and they're not giving me the fights. And then over here, I got evil dudes who don't have my best interests at heart, but they're giving me the fights. What option is better, D-Style? Which one am I going to try out? Which one am I willing to try out? I'm willing to try out this one because you dudes have already shown me you can't do anything on the other side. So I'm going to try out the dudes that are at least giving me the fights and are at least trying to give me some sort of sustainable model.
I'm glad you brought this up. And by the way, real quick, Mr. T, shout out to you. Thanks for the super chat. It says Cali X finished his Kingpin compound and returned to kick the Ain't Changed Crybabies while they're down. No more ask Turkey, get down or lay down.
Straight state property style. Get down or lay down.
Shout out to Bruce Goss, JC, the whole gang. Shout out to you guys. And yes, Papa says boxing fans have Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
I'm just tired of these dudes bitching, D-Style. Like, what other option do you have? You already run the sport. What else? Am I supposed to listen to the dudes that run the sport?
I'm going to come full circle to it, right? But, like, here's the thing. I'm also tired of whenever there's a discussion about the Ali Act, which has nothing to do with Muhammad Ali, by the way. Right? I just want to throw that out there. Muhammad Ali did just fine. There was no such thing as an Ali Act.
It's the most beautiful thing because they did the politician feel-good legislation move. We're just going to name it after a sympathetic figure.
And now they're going to name it, by the way, the Ali Revival Act. Well, apparently some people think Ali's literally coming back to life, but he's not. Right? And by the way, they're just amending it, by the way. Like, this whole idea they're getting rid of it, they're going to scrap it. Like they're not doing any of that. All that is just dumb shit people are saying. Non-serious people in the boxing world. It is what it is. But here's the thing. I've had it up to here. And shame on me, because I used to be one of them, maybe 10 years ago, that shit on Don King every chance they get. Oh, the Ali Act, we brought that in because of Don King. Don King was fucking up the sport. And Don King, whoa. Have people not seen Don King fight cards?
I'll petition to bring Don King back. I'll carry the board.
I miss when promoters actually acted like promoters that promoted the man. Don King would sell anything, right? But even though he had the talent to sell you, okay, a ham sandwich, for $100, that's how talented this dude is. He would sell Calix, that juicy fruit, for $30. Mm-hmm. That's how good Don King was. All right. But even though he had that talent, he didn't tell us crap. He told us really good shit. All right. Not saying he was perfect. Nobody is. But those were great fight cards. He was a great promoter. And all the complaints, all of them, every single one of them that people have about Don King, you could apply to promoters today. All of them. Oh, he was corrupt. What? We needed to separate him from having influence with the sanctioning bodies. What? What? These dudes are having orgies together or conferences together, all right? Till this day. They're still doing that shit. Well, what are we doing? It's because he was acting too much like a promoter and a manager. What? What do you think Alhimi was doing? Oh, it's because he was pocketing most of the money. You don't think these promoters are pocketing the money? What are we doing here, bro? What are we doing? It's everything. He took advantage of fighters. Oh, these dudes don't take advantage of fighters today, right? They're just great at what they do, right? De La Hoya wasn't taken to court by Triple G because for money owed him, right?
I saw Paulie with Ariel Helwani too. This morning I saw a clip and Dana White robs fighters. I'm like, Who doesn't rob fighters? He robs fighters left, right, and center. It's like, well, he's going to fit in perfectly here if that's what he does. He'll fit in perfectly. Like, who doesn't rob fighters? Rob fighters. Like, what are we doing here? Paulie, they don't understand because they're inside their little boxing bubble, right? And they get affirmed by their other boxing prognosticators or whatever online. Like, yeah, Paulie, go, Paulie. It's like, bro, this doesn't land with anybody. It doesn't land. Like, nobody's gonna listen to Paulie give a 2-minute rant about Dana White robs fighters. Like, who the hell cares? All these
this is the same dude, right? This same dude, right? Like, you think I forgot, Paulie? You think I forgot after your fight with Juan Diaz? Right, when you were there, like, this sport, man, you know, this sport is shit, man. There's nothing left, man. This sport, man. Like, remember how he was just ranting about how horrible the sport is run, and all they do is fuck fighters over, and the Ali Act existed then too, Paulie.
Yeah,
in fact, the Ali Act was being enforced even more back then.
But the funniest thing about that episode was he complained about Golden Boy fighters getting the upper hand with judges, and then what does he do? Who's he signed with after that? Right. So I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? These dudes with their checks and balances too. Like the sanctioning bodies need to be around for checks and balances. Like, look, ask Lamont Roach about the checks and balances of the sanctioning bodies and the athletic commissions. Like, get the hell out of here. There's no checks and these dudes are arguing for things to keep things around that don't exist. It's invisible, bro. Like, there's no checks and balances in boxing.
Look, if HBO was still putting on championship boxing, we still had pay-per-views that were doing good, and boxing was in a decent place, TKO wouldn't even think about joining boxing, right? The reality is that they're looking at an opportunity, and it's there. The door's wide open.
But these dudes are like, they're so late to the party. They're making arguments they should have made a decade ago about other dudes that now they're trying to keep in the sport. That's what's happening. Right. And they're only doing it for personal reasons. Like, get the hell out. They just don't like Dana White. That's all this is. But one of them is located. Like, we can't have boxing going to Saudi because, you know, it's dead over there. And, you know, you look at these fight cards in Riyadh and it's dead. And it's our sport. We need to keep it here. Dude, have you been to Vegas recently? Like, you dudes care about location all of a sudden? You care about, oh, it's too expensive for.
I mean, Danny Garcia's fans in the right location.
What do you mean? I paid $18 for a Smart Water in Vegas. I paid $18. I paid $22 for Starbucks bagel and coffee. It's like, this wasn't even the tall one. What do they call a tall one at Starbucks? I don't know. It was like the medium one. I paid $22. And all of a sudden, they care about, oh, it's going to be too expensive for the fight fans to go to.
I paid $12, bro, for some gummy bears, brother. Yeah. But when you start inflating and when you start doing that to gummy bears, have you seen gummy bears? They're so innocent, so small, so gummy. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone deserves some gummy bears. Everybody. But you're going to charge me $12? That's abuse.
It should be a quarter. Those things should be 25 cents. I'm not going to Vegas. I'm not going to Vegas. You dudes destroyed this sport in this country.
Mr. T.
What are you talking about? I don't. It's probably cheaper for me to go to Riyadh than it is to go watch a fight in Vegas.
Hey, you know, Yeti is leaving used car salesman Samson.
He's talking about Benavidez. He calls him email.
By the way, I confirmed this. I want to confirm this. I don't know if he'll leave him in the future, but he's not leaving him right now.
Yeah, I hope he does. I hope that guy. Never mind.
Hey, go in.
Samson's dirty. Look.
No, but Callum, we got the.
I wish the best. I wish the best for David Benavidez. That's going to pain some people.
But you know why it's okay that Samson is dirty and slimy and like, you know why it's good? You know why it's okay? Because we got the Ali Act. The Ali Act. The fighters have a force field around them because of the Ali Act to protect them from guys like Samson.
It's a good thing we have the Ali Act, or Samson wouldn't be able to rob fighters left, right, and center. So good thing we have that around. It's a good thing we have the Ali Act around to, you know, in case a guy does want to be a manager and promoter behind the scenes and call himself an advisor. It's a good thing we've got that thing around. Let's play this game. Mm-hmm. let's say Dana White disappeared. He
Yeah.
just said, "Nah, man, you dudes are kind of retarded over here. I'm just not going to be in the sport." Because he's got to be thinking that. He's got to be at boxing events and saying, good Lord, man, these journalists, I thought UFC journalists were bad. They got nothing on these dudes. And the boxing fans online seem to be equally bad. So I just don't want to be around anymore. And let's say the Saudis decide we don't want to keep bleeding money on this thing. We're going to go around. What do people expect to be left of the sport if that happens? Let's look back 2024, 2025. How many fights that are big actually happen in the sport without Turkey and the Saudis around? And where are we going to put the PBC fights if that happens? Where is their big deal? Where are we going to put these dudes? Top Rank just had one of the biggest global boxers, one of the biggest stars in global boxing in America. They had him on Facebook Live in America. Where the hell do they expect the Top Rank events to go? And for the love of God, man, like Eddie can't build anything. Like you and I talked about this. He doesn't get anything going really in America. So what do they expect to happen if these dudes disappear? What are your options? What are your options? What happens if these dudes disappear?
I don't know what people think is going to happen. I think boxing would be okay in the UK, Japan.
Who would Al Heyman have left to shake down for money? I think he's pretty much out of options, right? Top Rank, the Top Rank had like the best foundation in America. They can't even get a deal. Like, who the hell is paying for boxing?
They can't get a deal, and Aram's in his mid-90s, on top of that.
But they do this thing, right, where they're like, look at all the investment going on in boxing, so you guys are saying boxing is that. No, man, what's happening is these dudes are seeing that it's in shambles, so they're going to rebuild it in their image. That's what happens in the business world. There's a huge vacuum here, and Turkey, the 2030, we talked about the 2030 vision. We're not going to go back over that, right? The Saudis, but also Dana White invested $0 into this. Zero. He has nothing to lose. They have nothing. Zero. There's zero here.
Real quick, Mr. T, email Yeti said he's not renewing his contract. So
good.
No renewal. It is what it is. But here's the thing. By the way, I thought David would never leave PBC and fight Canelo. Fight Canelo in the zone. Fuck no, I would never go to the zone. You know what I mean? But whatever, right?
Look right there, David. That's greener pastures. Take off, bro. Go. We've been waiting. You and I have been waiting a couple of years for David to realize, hey, wait a second here. I am surrounded by complete dummies. I am surrounded by mental midgets. Like, I need to get out of here. Hopefully he's seeing that now. Hopefully I got to get away from these guys, because I fully believe, I really do. I think David thinks he's a great fighter. I think David wants the fights. I just think David's been surrounded. Ultimately, it's his fault, because they're all their own boss, right? I'm my own boss. So it's ultimately his fault, but I think it's his fault out of a lack of business IQ, not out of.
He's also like, we keep it real. I mean, what is he paying Samson to do? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it's all these guys. They got to give the cut to Al Heyman as a advisor, and then he installs some puppet promoter for them, so he doesn't violate the Ali Act, right? But all that's supposed to protect the fighters, all they're doing is paying somebody else to cut. Like, what do we do? We're gonna protect you for your own good. You know what I mean?
So look at this comment right here, D-Sound. This will bring into brighter focus what we're saying about there's nobody warmed up in the bullpen. Let's say Canelo, he's just a Riyadh fighter now, and he's going to go to Riyadh and then retire. Who takes those dates? And this has been a thing for like 20 years, right? It's, I would argue, the healthiest market in boxing in America is the Mexican-American audience. It keeps it afloat. It's the highest IQ boxing market, in my opinion. It's the highest entertainment value market in boxing. So Cinco de Mayo, the September date, it's been a big deal since Mayweather De La Hoya, right? that's when it came into focus, really, like as far as a big thing. So we're talking 2 decades now where this has been like a focus. Who is it? Is it Virgil versus Boots? And somebody said Virgil versus Boots is the
I'm all
biggest
for it.
fight in American boxing. If that's the biggest fight in American boxing, we got a big problem. And I'm not
I mean,
saying
I love the
that's
fight.
a damn good boxing fight, but it's not something that's going to puncture the casual market at all.
No.
Who's the guy?
They're,
Like,
they're
who's the guy
both,
that's going to take that thing?
ironically, I think they're both relatable guys. I think, unfortunately, PBC decided that Boots just to be a hermit for like 10 years or whatever. Like, he just wasted his time with PBC for all those years. Eddie, even though I don't like the Lima fight at all, he's done more with Boots in like 2 years, whatever he's had him, than PBC did forever. But Virgil, I mean, he's been kind of in and out, but these two guys, both of them are just well known in boxing circles. That's it. The casual audience doesn't really know them like that. And it's kind of hard for all the people out there, be positive. It's a great performance. Like, your casual fans, when they look at something like that, when they look at a first round knockout and they see a mismatch, casual sports fans don't like that stuff. They just don't. Like, it's the same reason they really don't tune in to watch Michigan against some like overmatched team. Like, yes, yeah. Like yes, Michigan's gonna dominate and they're gonna look amazing, but like that's not what they want to see them against Ohio State.
How many people? You know what I mean? How many people walked up to you this week? Oh, that guy Boots, man! Like that dude annihilated that guy. Like nobody saw this.
So if anything, it's like a stark reminder for people. Like, that's why I stopped watching boxing, bro. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, gonna beat up that dude. But like that's and to be honest, he didn't belong in the ring with Boots. Like, this is the frustrating part about it. Like, oh, I need a tune-up. You didn't even tune yourself up. You didn't even get rounds in. Like, what are you doing? Like, and for what? If you have a tough fight with a guy, people are going to say you struggled against him. If you knock him out in the first round, they're going to say, well, yeah, of course you're supposed to knock him out. Like, so you gain nothing from it. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. But I like the Boots fight against Virgil, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's the type of fight I would love to have seen, like on the undercard of Crawford Canelo or something like that, right? Because that would boost those names up. It would enhance an undercard, and stuff like that. But I'll take it. That's all they got. But so what else do we got? We don't have that dude really in Mexico that's going to follow up Canelo in terms of star power. We just don't.
Yep. Do you think Bud Crawford, let's say Bud Crawford is the A side and he fights, let's say he fights a champion at 160. How many pay-per-view buys you think that does? I'm asking this for a reason.
I think it might do 200.
Right. And that's around what Tank does, right? Without Ryan.
I think it'll get there for sure, yeah.
What I'm trying to drive home a point is, even with Bud, and I love, like, I've been a Bud fan since almost day one. Before it was fashionable to be a Bud fan.
Yeah, of course.
But we got to keep it real. And I've been called a hater for this too. Any sort of superstardom that it's perceived that Bud has, and I drive that home, perceived that he has or that he is in America.
Yeah.
How much of that is organic? In that, how much Saudi money got Bud because I would argue the Bud Spence fight, it needed outside money. That wasn't just PBC money, right? So Spence, Canelo, how much of that is Saudi influenced? How much of getting him on Netflix is Dana White influenced? So what I'm saying is how much
of that was the Canelo impact, right?
How much of that is the Canelo impact?
Because I've been having discussions with people, and it's like it's first of all, let's not kid ourselves. 90% of that crowd was Canelo fans.
Correct.
Right? Because I'll bring that up. The Canelo fans packed the house. Oh, there was Bud fans too. Like, I didn't say there was no Bud fans, but let's be honest. One guy's fought in stadiums before against Billy Joe Saunders. One guy hasn't. So let's just be honest for a second, right? And call it like for what it is, right? And do I think Bud's profile has increased? Of course, it's going to increase after a Canelo win, right? So he's not worse off than he was before, and he had a great performance on top of that.
Oh yeah, boy did he. Yeah.
And I'll be, it was a type of performance where I personally, I mean, usually when a guy puts on a great performance, I hear a lot of casuals complain about the performance. This time, not really, right? They were very impressed with Bud. And so it was good for his brand. However, I mean, he is in his late 30s. Even if he does come, I think he has 2-3 more fights and he's done. He only fights once a year. That I don't think that's going to stop, right? So he's been relatively inactive. He'll continue to be inactive, and I don't. His profile's increased a little bit. I think he's got 200, maybe 300,000 buys in him if it's put on pay-per-view. That's his ceiling. It's a lot better than it was before the Canelo fight, right? Mm-hmm. But that's where it is, right? But this is a sign. This is the lack of consistency in boxing.
It's the lack of consistency in boxing. That's the point I'm trying to drive home. Is even for someone as great, I think Bud Crawford, you can put him in the all-time great category. He's there, and I've been there for a while with him, right? Yeah. But even as Top Rank is losing money promoting his fights, the Saudis are obviously losing money promoting his fights. Other than the Canelo fight, I think they probably turned a profit on that one, right?
Maybe, yeah.
But
I don't know, but they paid him crazy money. But yeah,
they paid him crazy money, and then that LA card, they obviously lost a ton of money on that one. But what I'm saying is, even with a great entertaining fighter like Bud Crawford, the model of boxing in America still restrains. It still lowers the ceiling that he could get to, right? And we talked about how Canelo got to where he is by raging against that market. Golden Boy tried to say, don't take the Austin Trout fight. No, we're going to take okay, you're taking the Austin Trout fight, but now it's not on Floyd's undercard, so we're definitely not taking it. No, I'm going to take the fight, and I'm going to do it for half the money. Yep. Don't take the Lara fight. Don't take the Mayweather fight. And he continues to take these fights because he realizes that I'm going to get that back end money off of it. I'm going to build my brand. But with these other fighters who don't necessarily have that freedom to do that because they're not as big stars, they don't have that big of a market, it constricts how big of a star that even a Bud Crawford, as entertaining as it is, can be. It limits him to once per year fighting. This dude's been a once per year fighter for 5-6 straight calendar years, and you just can't become a star that way. You can't. Tank Davis, he's astroturfed to a degree too, but he's built this rabid fan base, but that fan base can only get him 200 to 250,000 pay-per-view buys, and he hasn't been able to break through past that because the casual market is smarter than people think. They're seeing Lamont Roach. Why would I go watch that one? No, I'm not going to pay $85 to go watch that fight. I'm not. And then they see him struggle in that fight, and they hear him struggling in a fight, and it's like, yeah, that's probably why he's not fighting the top fights, because he's struggling in that fight. So I think boxing fans and pundits try to explain this stuff away. They have this sort of syndrome where when casuals or people outside of the boxing market talk down about the sport, they try to overcompensate and build these fighters up to trying to make people think that these guys are bigger stars than they actually
it's also it's the problem with a lot of boxing fans out there, and sometimes I feel like I'm talking to me from like maybe 10 years ago, when I say these things, right? Like it takes, like I had to be that myself to acknowledge it and see it, right? And what I'm telling you guys is a lot of boxing fans out there sound very arrogant, and like you come off as elitist. Like you give this elitist attitude, and like elitist on what? Like boxing's a fringe sport in the U.S. You know what I mean? But it's just this whole like the boxing, like the I remember I told a friend once, I go, man, I really miss the days when there was a big fight in boxing, all my friends and family, they wanted to gather together and we could have a fight night. It was just an exciting times. And I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or whatever, but it was like, no, I don't miss those days. I mean, I hate watching fights with casuals and they don't even know what they're watching. They're just
Yeah.
annoying to watch. I'd rather watch boxing by myself. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's like a defense mechanism that boxing fans have. You know what I mean?
It's an elitism without a reason to be elitist, because there's nothing to be elitist about, right? But
Yeah.
and it's a turnoff. But the other, you know what I miss more is sitting home on a Friday night and I could turn on ESPN Friday Night Fights. I could turn on Showbox. That's what I miss. Just those small cards that built fighters up organically. Tuesday night fights on USA. We don't have that anymore, and they're not understanding that that's the bigger problem.
Yeah,
That's the bigger
there's
problem.
a foundational issue,
Yes.
and we talked about it for years, right? Where there was like a development. A fighter is on maybe on Telemundo first or something, and
Mhm.
then he's on Friday Night Fights, and then he's on, and then whoa, look at that guy! I remember him, and now he's on HBO Boxing After Dark, or maybe Showbox before that, and then finally they graduate to the undercard of a championship boxing, and then on the main event of a championship boxing, and then they're on the undercard or the co-main of a big pay-per-view, or and before you know it, they're built up. Like they don't do that anymore. Like
Mhm.
there's no process involved. There's no. I don't. I just see the most random cards patched together and thrown together and just thrown out there.
I
Right?
miss I miss watching fights, and the crowd, the environment came through the screen, right? Remember the Carson, California cards?
Yeah.
That, like, Paul Williams versus Antonio Margarito. And what happens is PBC goes in there and completely destroys that market.
What I want
Completely
to know is
destroys.
how did PBC get that wrong? Like all you got to do is put on great fights, and the crowd will do the rest, right?
Because
Hey,
it's AstroTurf. That is robbing the market. That's what it looks like. That's what we're just going to take investor money.
mm,
It's a Ponzi scheme. And they don't care about, we're not making any money here. They don't care that they're just going to, like the Minneapolis, Minnesota venue. And yeah, you got people there, but they all got in for free. They're going in and destroying these markets and burning every bridge behind them. So where the people that have to come behind them can't do any work. The
mhm.
only people that can sell boxing right now is Turkey and the Saudis, because they have deep pockets and they're willing to bleed money for another 4 years, 5 years, because they got till 2030. And then Dana White, because he's built something sustainable on the other side with another sport. Nobody else can sell a sport. Not even Bob Arum, not even Top Rank. They can't. They don't have. Where's their network? They don't have one. They don't have one because they can't sell it. Even something like Top Rank, which has been the standard, they can't even sell
Mhm.
it. And people aren't realizing this, that maybe you want the old PBC days to come back, but that's the reason why we're here, bro. It's the reason why you may not realize it, but it's the reason why we're in the position that we're in. So
Yeah. Also, a lot of like you would compare when we started doing this years ago, right? A lot of those 50, 60, 70 year olds are now either a lot older or they passed away, right? So a lot of that old fan base is gone,
yeah,
right? And so like if somebody was 60 years old when you and I started doing podcasting,
yep,
they're in the 80s now or close to it, or they're passed away,
yep.
right? So there's a huge contingent of the fan base that has completely
And
gone.
that and that fan base doesn't recognize what they're watching. They just don't. They have too much experience. They've seen too many generations, and they look. This isn't just boxing. It's not just a boxing problem. We talk about in the basketball world all the time how the sport is completely watered down from what it used to be. More training than ever, more money than ever has been spent on training, but these kids get up to the high school level and it looks like they have zero training. Football, same thing. You look at quarterbacks in the NFL, they can't make simple reads anymore. Everything comes from the head coach. The quarterback play is worse than it's ever been at both the college and NFL level. So you're seeing that in boxing as well. As these guys are fighting less, they're getting injured more, and the skill level isn't. It's just not where it was. And these boxers, I don't care what anybody says, man, they're not as good as boxers from the previous generation and the one before and the one before. They're just not. Um,
It's not just that. It's also the mentality of the athlete that the people don't
exactly.
recognize.
Even if the talent level isn't what I talk about this with my niece all the time, is she gets frustrated when people say WNBA players aren't as good as NBA players. It's like, stop focusing on that. Even though you're not as good, you can still put on a great product if you, number one, stop bitching, and number two, just put on an entertaining product. Stop focusing on what's going on, and just put on an
Damn, you said
entertaining
that to your
product.
niece?
I,
Shit.
I, I tell it to my niece, but we've lost sight of all this,
Mm,
right? It's been a deterioration in the American boxing market.
right.
And I have less patience for people who want to keep, like when Danny Garcia says, keep your hands off our boxing. Like, well, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Like, you're acting like you gave us something better than what these guys are at least saying they
Here's
can
the other
do.
thing, Alex. Like, where do people think boxing people come from? Like, for example, where did Samson come from? Before he was involved in boxing, what was he doing?
Right.
Because it's like, oh, why is this guy coming over to boxing, right? Because Dana's coming from a combative sport, MMA, and he's coming over to try to promote boxing, right?
Al Heyman was doing concerts.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing concerts, bro. Like a lot of these dudes, like these are not like a lot of what I've learned over the years is people in the boxing business are not very serious, nor are they impressive people.
Yep.
Right? These are not like dudes that, like, man, if they weren't involved in boxing, they'd be doing some other shit, right? I don't see, especially when you start to get involved with businesses and you get to know small business owners. You get to know people that think like businessmen and how their mind is wired, right? Especially they're doing it legit. You start to like realize, like, man, these people in boxing just aren't that impressive.
Yep.
They just aren't. These are people like you cannot say, only in boxing can you say, you need to understand boxing is a business, right? Like boxing is the only entity in life where people need to say that to you in order for you to accept something that you don't like, right? You cannot go to a restaurant and be like, yo, I asked for medium, not medium rare. No, you need to understand. We're running a business here, right? Whenever someone tells you that, it's usually not a good thing.
Right, but you said to sell me something that I don't like. It's not really that, because I'll buy something that I don't like if it makes sense.
Okay,
They're trying to sell you on something that
you
doesn't
don't need,
make any sense. And they work
right?
overtime doing it for no money. That's what I experience a lot online. So it's like, why? Why? To me, like, if something's not the truth, it's not worth fighting for. I don't understand that. Like, why am I
Yeah, yeah.
fighting
In
for?
one hand, right, they want to brag how it's a business, right? Yet all of these fights, they're not making any money,
Yeah.
right? Like what do you like if Couch is running the business and he tells me, man, but I'm in the red, like, you know what I mean? I'm losing money on everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the red, right? I'm not making any money. Like, well, how long has it been like this, man? It's been like this for like forever. I just have this Saudi friend that just like gives me money because I keep losing it. Like what? Like what? But I'm a businessman. I know what I'm doing. Like, do you know what you're doing?
Yep.
So to me, when I look at Dana White, right? My final point before we wrap this one up. When I look at Dana White, I'm looking at someone who's going to come in and try to do something. And people, they're already jumping on. It's like the sheep are just repeating narratives that they've been hearing. Everything from De La Hoya to Eddie Hearn to your casual fan to everybody, right? Oh, he wants to rip off the fighters. Oh, he's not going to pay the fighters. Oh, they're going to fight for peanuts. And that's what he wants. That's why he's trying to change the Ali Act and this, that, and the third, right? Yet what they don't tell you is, look, the UFC as a promotional company has promoted more millionaires than any other boxing promoter in history. Now, you could say, well, that's unfair because there's multiple boxing promoters. That's not the point. The point is you claim he wants people to fight for peanuts. Meanwhile, all you got to do is look at the sheets. Look at all these, from Golden Boy to all these guys. Look at the undercards and what those fighters are getting paid. They're not making a lot of money, bro. If Saudi isn't involved, they're not making a lot of money. Dana White was preaching so much about he's going to go to MMA because he wants to make sure the fighters get paid more and all this other stuff. And you look at that fight card, there was dudes fighting for $1,000 on an MMA card running their Golden Boy. So he could kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. There's also promoters out here that don't invest any money on fighters. Nothing. They'll shove them and have them do nothing. And if somebody comes in and forks up the money, peanuts, they're not paying nothing. We have, I know of cases where fighters have to pay their opponents to get fights. That's the type of shit going on in boxing, but you're concerned about what UFC fighters are making. Like, well, what are we doing? Right? And you as a fight fan, why do you give a shit if a guy's going to make 20 million or 4 million, right? What is it to you? These fighters, they're not calling your boss and demanding you get a raise. Hey, you need to give Calix a raise because I need him to buy some pay-per-views. He's a loyal boxing fan. He works really hard. He deserves more. So pay him more. They're not doing that for Calix.
Nope.
They're not doing it for you. You got to look out for your own interests as a boxing fan. You want the fights. These fights, they're getting screwed over every day anyway. We're still not getting the shit we want, right? Yeah. So how about we get the shit we want? 2 super chats, and I'll give Calix the last word here. To Virgil is flirting with Obakar or Yaki Lopez territory. Really needs to win a title soon. Got to look bad eventually. In this watered down era. Well, that's true. Alexander Wilson, basketball players are training with cones and chairs. 20 and 30 years ago, they used to practice in a 5-on-5 environment. That's a big problem today. Shout out to you, brother. Last words, Alex.
So I don't want our arguments to be taken out of context. So I'll point out, and I think I speak for you as well, is we're not proclaiming Turkey and Dana to be saviors of the sport. I very much believe that Dana and Turkey have uphill battles, particularly Dana in the American market has an uphill battle building a sustainable market and doing it when so many of former boxing fans for the past 10, 15 years have so much distaste in their mouth from the things that have been happening. And you got to bring those people back in. And then on top of that, not only do you have to bring those people back in, you have to attract more casuals to this new market. And you got to do it with a budget. So he's got an uphill battle. But what I'm saying is, as compared to what? What do I have to compare it to? Nothing happens in a vacuum. So these people who are saying, keep your hands off my boxing, what are you arguing for? What in the world are you arguing for? PVC has nothing. They're, for all intents and purposes, dead. Top Rank has no network. They just put Inouye on Facebook Live. Matchroom America, what is there of Matchroom USA? So what are you arguing for? And stop demonizing people who are willing to say, I'm willing to try something else, anything else, because I know what you've been doing doesn't work. If you give me evil person who doesn't have my best interests at heart, who isn't giving me fights in a sustainable market, over here you give me evil person who doesn't care about my interests, but cares about a sustainable market, seemingly, and will give me the fights. Guess which one I'm gonna take? And we don't care if you try to demonize us for that, because we're gonna keep going. So is it surprising that people are willing to say, yeah, I'll try this out over here? Is that really surprising to you? Is it really surprising to you that no fighters called into the California State Athletic Commission to argue for the Ali Act to stick around when, like you said, they're at home getting battered by these dudes, and they're fighting once per year. D-Style, what's 30% of zero?
Because the only ones that it benefits are dudes like Canelo's not gonna call. Hey man, don't touch that. I want to make my money. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Danny
still zero.
Garcia, they've been taken care of, but outside of that top 1%, these other 99% of fighters are like, the hell with it. Take a sledgehammer to it. Who cares in these dudes, man?
When
Like,
those
they just,
shelf fighters that aren't active, right, and they got nothing going for them, when they hear something like, "Yo, we gotta stop them from forming a league," yeah, I wouldn't mind the league. Like shit.
when PBC is teaming up with the sanctioning body and an athletic commission, and a fighter clearly gets robbed, and the sanctioning body and athletic commission don't stand up for that fighter that got robbed. What does that sound like to you, D-Style?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty much like a league, right? Who just
Yep.
wanted the A side opponent to win. That's what it sounds like to me. So these arguments that people they don't realize they're not landing because they don't make sense. They're not landing because we're smarter than that. It's not going to land. It's not going to work. So I'm all ears.
Believing in the Ali Act means that you're putting your full faith in guys like Mauricio Suleiman to do the right thing.
Good luck.
That's what that means. So,
good luck with that, and good luck trying to sell us on this stuff, because it's going to bounce off these walls, man, because we know it doesn't make any sense. You really just look dumb. I just want to tell these dudes that sometimes you really just look dumb with these. You think you look smart, you're using big words, but you look dumb. You're arguing for a model that clearly doesn't work and doesn't benefit anybody besides a few people at the top. That's it.
That's right. It benefits guys like Mauricio Suleiman.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, that is the show. And for Calix, we are out of here. Peace.
God bless.